Happy New Year! Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sue Louise. I've been a freelance makeup artist for over 20 years and I'm passionate about helping the next generation of makeup artists become more successful freelancers. Now in today's video, I've just said Happy New Year, so obviously it's January. It's the beginning of January 2022. Now we all know that 2021 was a difficult year for pretty much all of us makeup artists and hairstylists, so here's hoping that 2022 is a much better year for everyone. Now traditionally January is a time where we get a lot of inquiries coming through, particularly bridal inquiries, and I think there's several reasons for that. In today's video you'll learn my top 3 tips for managing the influx of inquiries throughout January. Now, one of the reasons that there are a lot of inquiries in January, I believe, is that once all the craziness of Christmas and the holidays and the end of the year is over, people go back to work, they're starting to look forward and looking for something to be excited about, and for a lot of people that's their wedding. Also, obviously, a lot of engagements happen over that Christmas, New Year time. So people are looking forward and they're starting to do their planning. So I've always found over the last 20 years that January has been a really busy time for me with fielding inquiries for weddings. And it can get quite overwhelming, and particularly if you are receiving inquiries through a variety of different sources, which is what tends to happen now. So you're probably getting inquiries through your website, on email, through social media, Instagram DMs, private messages on Facebook, maybe text messages. Hey, you may be even getting telephone inquiries the old-fashioned way. However, it's really important to consolidate all of these inquiries. So tip number 1 is to get your inquiries onto email as soon as possible. Now the reasons I recommend this, firstly, because you control your email. So you can kind of keep a much better track of everything, having it all in one place than all over the shop. And the other reason is because, well, we all remember what happened when Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp all went down last year, right? What happens if you're in the middle of getting back to someone on an inquiry and all of a sudden that happens again? There's no saying that will, but of course there's no saying that won't. With your email, that's a platform that you own, so it's a much safer place to have all of your inquiries. Now, I'm not one of these people that recommends that you refuse to accept inquiries over DM or through any of those other sources. Far from it. I'm happy for my clients to inquire with me wherever they feel most comfortable to, and I will have that initial backwards and forwards with them over DM or text or wherever that happens to be. However, when it comes time to quote, this is when I recommend that you get their email address and send them a quote via email. Now I know some people do have an inquiry form they ask their brides to fill out. That can be another great way to get people onto email as well. If you don't do that, or if you'd prefer not to do that, the time of the quote I think is the best time to get your inquiry onto email. And once I've got those inquiries on email, any subsequent communication takes place over email. It's all in one place, and that way I can avoid losing track of any of those inquiries. Tip number 2 is to organize your email. So what do you do when you've got all of these inquiries in your email and they're clogging up your inbox? Well, what I recommend you to do is to create a separate folder in your email inbox called inquiries. And when you get those inquiries that come through, once you've got them onto email, is pop them into that folder. Now the idea with this folder is that they will all be organized by date, which is going to help out with step number 3, which is coming in a moment, but you can obviously keep a really good track of all of those inquiries there. Now obviously once the client goes ahead with the booking, pays her deposit, retainer, booking fee, whatever you want to call it, you can create a separate folder for each client and put all subsequent correspondence into that folder. And I like to name that folder with the bride or the client's name and also the date of her wedding or her event. Now the other thing that I do once my client has booked and paid her deposit is I create a file for her in Bridal Beauty Pro app. This is a great app where you can put all of your clients' details, keep track of them, Any inspiration pictures that she sends you, you can pop into her file there. And also when it comes time to do her trial, you can put all of the trial notes and the trial photos so that they're easily accessible on the wedding day. You can get a free 30-day trial of Bridal Beauty Pro app, and you can download that at the App Store, Google Play, or simply going to bridalbeautyproapp.com. And I'll put a link to that down in the description. And step number 3, and this is the really important step that I find a lot of freelancers miss out on, is the follow-up. I love that saying, the fortune is in the follow-up, and it's a really important step in the inquiry process. So if you've got all of your inquiries in one folder, in your email, in the date that they came in, it's going to be very easy to see when it's time to follow up with those inquiries. And I generally recommend that you follow up 7 days after the initial inquiry or after you've sent the quote if you haven't heard back. Now, the reality is you're not going to hear back from everyone that inquires with you. Some people will be sending out inquiries to a number of different artists and will choose another artist, whether that's based on price or some other reason, and that's fine. And you'll also find that some of your clients or brides, believe it or not, their makeup or their hairstyling is not the most important part of their wedding. I know, hard to believe, but that is reality. Sometimes they're more interested in booking their photographer or their venue, or sometimes life just gets in the way and they don't get back to you straight away. But when you follow up, if you're the only one following up and all the other artists they haven't inquired with are not, you are one step ahead of those other artists. So following up is a really important thing to do. And if you want more info on following up and the best way to do that, then head on up and check out this video here, which I created all about following up on your inquiries and booking more of those clients. So I hope you found these 3 tips helpful. If so, drop me a comment down below. Let me know how you're going with your inquiries this January. Let me know if you're receiving a lot more inquiries than usual. And I really hope that that is the case and that your diaries are starting to look really full for 2022. If you're not, or if you'd like to receive more inquiries or more inquiries from the type of clients that you want to work with, make sure that you jump onto my mailing list, because I do have a really great webinar coming up at the end of January I'm sure you're going to be really interested in. And I'll put the link down below in the description, but you can go to suelouise.com/list to get onto that mailing list. Thanks so much for watching. All the best for 2022, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye for now.